topic today is supply chain resiliency at Amgen, and my guest is Patricia Turney, Executive Director of Supply Chain with Amgen. Patricia, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Please tell me, first of all, what is your role at Amgen?
Yeah, so I'm in a supply chain role and specifically accountable for our external supply. All the suppliers who bring in our we buy our raw materials from, and medical devices, so that go into our actual end product for our patients.
Yeah, now Amgen, of course, is one of the biggest names in biotech and health, but would you please tell us a little bit quickly about the company?
Well, compared to a lot of our competitors, it's a fairly young company. You know, we were founded in 1980, so about 34 years old now. And it's a $19 billion company in sales, and our revenue is close to $5 billion. We basically are, discovering, developing, and manufacturing human therapeutics for serious illnesses. You know, we supply our human therapeutics to patients all around the world, and to help them fight serious illness and cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, kidney disease, and other things.
Okay. So tell me about your supply chain resiliency program.
Yeah, so, because I'm accountable for all these materials coming in and going into our products that actually get injected into to people and our patients, we're very concerned about the resiliency of our supply chain. Not even just, that, we have a commitment to supply our patients. We have a phrase, we call it, every patient, every time. We've never shorted the market. We've never had a patient go without their life-saving medicine, so it's really, really important to us. There's a cost to that. And as we get into, the flatter world we live in, and we're getting, materials from all over the world, all over the globe, and from, basically from countries that have maybe different types of regulatory systems. We want to make sure that the quality is very, very high, and anything that could disrupt our supply geopolitically, that we're aware of that. So the resiliency program is around that, the 24/7 oversight of our whole supply chain.
But you've managed it successfully for 34 years.
We have, but I think it's been a little bit on, a situation where, we've been maybe very lucky. And again, originally some of our suppliers were closer to home and in the Western world, and more we're finding that we're sourcing materials from really remote locations.
Okay, so you started casting about for a new solution in order to kind of bump it up and connect, in line with what was going on out there. Talk about how you found Resiliency, which I understand is your vendor in this area. Did you go through a lot of different candidates? What were your criteria for that selection?
Yeah, so we did look at a couple different candidates, but we were actually looking for somebody who had a real solution out there, and basically a low total cost of ownership, something that we could start using right away. And their platform is very interesting, and they use the Salesforce platform. So that was something that we didn't have to do a big upfront investment in IT. So that was very interesting to us, and that they had, numerous clients in the high-tech industry, automotive industry, and medical device industry already using their product.
So they were already in the medical industry, because you have such unique requirements. Some of them are so critical and so high-touch and high-maintenance. Right. You'd want to find some kind of a vendor that's been in that area already, and you felt they had that.
They had a little bit. I think we're taking them to the next level and working very closely with them to assure that the biologic side was covered, but they did work with a medical device supplier.
Yeah. You said it was Salesforce type. Does that mean that it was automatically in the cloud by definition, and that was okay with you to be that kind of a solution?
Yes, it was, and it's something that our company had already used that backbone in other areas, so it was well vetted and validated by our IT.
Yeah. Because again, you're a very high security, high proprietary, highly confidential type of product chain, so you'd have to be very assured that this is going to be a secure system.
Yes, and a lot of our suppliers actually like this idea. Some of our suppliers have situations where they have trade secrets or IP that they want to protect, and they actually like the idea of this being a third party that they put this information into, and both the supplier and us are notified if there's anything that the Resiliency organization sees that could be a risk to the supply chain.
So what were the goals of your program?
So, overall the goals, were around, supply reliability and security. I think, the 24/7 surveillance is really, really key. and in giving us the mapping technology for us to create a war room when necessary and have some newer insights into our supply chain. And we already have some new insights on our Tier 2 suppliers and where they're located that we didn't really have an understanding of before.
Yeah. How long did it take to implement? What was involved, and what kind of lessons did you learn along the way?
So, I mean, we're still in the implementation phase, but we kicked this program off in June of 2013, and we've rapidly mapped our Tier 1 suppliers. So we're about 80% of our Tier 1 suppliers, and getting into some of our Tier 2 suppliers. And their full supply chains all the way down to what we consider the ingredients that go into these products, and we see this as a multi-year program, and hope to have it really fully implemented by the end of 2015.
Yeah. You mentioned the war room, which a lot of companies or a lot of best practices type companies are implementing in terms of supply chain risk management. That also involves a tremendous amount of business process change. You weren't just buying a piece of technology, and you must have understood that from the start. So what kind of stuff were you doing at the same time alongside the tech implementation to make sure that your company was reflecting that, the benefits of that in terms of your business process?
Yeah, so we've created a quarterly executive update where we review the insights that we have as we input things, and then we're also basically training a lot of the subject matter experts or the supply chain people who need to respond or go into the system for new insights. And our product leaders are also very interested in this because we can actually make cuts of the data by product, and so it also has, if there is an issue, we can start prioritizing too with the highest revenue products and the things that will impact our company the most.
So as you say, it's a work in progress, but what benefits have you realized so far?
Well, actually, I mean, most recently, we have had fires in the San Diego area, and so several of our suppliers down there had to shut down their operations, so we had an immediate contact, that's going on, and we have an immediate list of all, even visually, of who's in that area and who's close to that catastrophe, basically. And we can immediately call them and get updates on what their plan is and what the impact's going to be to our supply.
Has it changed the nature and the geographic scope of your supply base, or do you intend to do that in order to kind of vary where you get your supplies from so that you're not stuck if one thing happens in one place?
Yeah, and we'd already been doing that. I mean, so a lot of our suppliers have multiple sites, and we work with them to make sure that their site, say in Germany, and their site in Japan can both supply us. So we do a lot of work like that. But I am sure it's going to drive more decisions like that as we get further into more data into that solution.
What remains to be done? What's on the agenda for, say, the coming year or two?
Yeah, so there's a lot of aspects of the tool that we're not using yet, and part of that is you can track the risks by material or even by supplier, and the mediations and house it in that system. And we're also, so that's one big thing that we're marching towards getting completed, as well as having our suppliers input their business continuity plans into the system, and that's a great way to house it and keep them updated. They would get a regular email to update that. So the business continuity plans are one of the next steps as well.
And I'm assuming that because Resilink is in the cloud, as we were discussing earlier, there are no problems with any updates or additions or bells or whistles they might want to add on in terms of any potential disruption to your operation. That's not really an issue then, right?
No, that's not an issue. And actually, we've been very happy that Resilink's, including us in some of their, customer advisory boards, and we're helping to drive what the future of the tool looks like as well.
Yeah. So what advice would you have to other executives who are thinking about implementing a much stronger supply chain resiliency program?
I say, basically get started. I mean, it's I think you can't wait and just, be complacent. I think being proactive and getting into this type of a system is an important way to move, I think our collective supply chains forward, and then, suppliers won't be, surprised that this is data that companies want.
Yeah. It does seem like everybody gets all excited in the wake of a particular horrible natural disaster that gets everyone thinking about supply chain resiliency for maybe a few weeks, a few months, and then the talk sort of fades away until the next big disaster. It sounds like you did not fall into that trap, though. So,
Yeah, I don't think we have. So I think we think of this as a really big, competitive advantage, and something we're very committed to.
yeah. Patricia, thank you so much for telling us your story at Amgen. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Patricia Turney at Amgen. Thank you very much for watching.